All right, so this video is going to be unscripted and we'll see how it goes. But I was messing around in YouTube Studio and noticed they have a new tab at the top. Let me see if I can get back to it. Let me switch screens. Okay, so normally when you go to YouTube Studio, you have your videos tab, shorts tab, live tab, posts, and so on. But now they have this new inspiration tab. And so I figured I would see how much sense this thing makes, if it is good for making a video. And this is sort of a meta video in that I'm going to do it live. All right, so Ultimate Scorebug Design Guide Pro Tips. Comprehensive guide is presented to help viewers master the art of designing professional looking scorebugs. Tips and tricks from experienced designers, designer me, tips and tricks are shared to help create visually appealing scorebugs that enhance the viewing experience. All right, so let's see what the suggested outline. Why scorebugs matter, understanding scorebug anatomy, designing for clarity and readability, creating visual appeal, tips for success. All right, so we're going to go through these and see how it goes. And yeah, starting off, introduction. Oh, wow, is it going to... I thought it was going to try to populate something. Okay, so the first point in this is, what are scorebugs and why are they important? All right, so I guess we're gonna need to start by, let me see if I have, what is this window capture? Let me, do I have a, no I don't. All right, so let's cancel that. I'm gonna bring it in, Scorebug, using deprecated, not display capture. Oh, that is the window capture then. Yay, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and add basketball scorebug and see if that pulls up. Ooh, pretty small. All right, yeah, so this is the basketball scorebug. It's already applying chroma key filter because I'm pulling in that. It has, the scorebug itself has a magenta background. Let me see if I can show that. Yeah, so you can see it over here. Yeah, so this is the scorebug that this display capture or this window capture is showing. Let me switch back to the YouTube tutorial screen. Okay, now what do I want to do? So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and crop this. You can crop it by going up to the red square control handle, holding down Option. I'm on a Mac, so it's Option. And then crop this in. I just want to crop it in so that part of the pink background is showing. And then we can go ahead and turn back on the filter. The chroma key is the filter. If we go, we can throw that away and then bring it back in. What's the color correction doing? Oh, it's just for the transparency. Let's go ahead and erase that as well. Okay, so that's unfiltered. So let me redo the chroma key. Chroma key defaults to green. We want it to be magenta. And then we're going to see, make it a little bit bigger. It looks like it's gotten all the magenta away, so we want to make sure that red stays there for the Definite Fiction logo. Yeah, that's probably fine. Let's go ahead and add that color correction back in. And for this, all I'm doing is go like 80% opacity. That is too much opacity. So we can just go back in, color correction, go 90. Okay. It's probably better. Yeah, it's better. We just want a little subtle amount of transparency. Okay, so why are they important? Obviously, score bugs are important because they show the score of the game. In this case, I have a timer built into the score bug, so to show how much time's left in each quarter. Shows timeouts for each team and number of fouls committed for each team. This is pretty typical of basketball score bugs. And then, yeah, so they just help keep the user or the viewer up to date on what the situation is in the game. Okay, so show an example. So this is my latest basketball score bug, and I hope this is an example of a good score bug. And I guess the benefits of a well-designed score bug. Yeah, so like it says in here, brand recognition. Obviously, I have my Definite Fiction logo in the middle. Viewer engagement. It just helps to complement the broadcast, so the announcer doesn't have to, constantly repeat what the score is, what quarter it is, what the time is left. It gives information to the user. And then professional look. Yeah, you want it to look nice and clean. Let me see if I have. Let me add in an image. Hold on just a second. I think I have an image from my Colin Boyles versus Gigi Jackson video. Okay. Let's do that and send that below the score bug. And maybe below me too. Okay. Oops. Select basketball score bug. Okay, so I can scale this up a little bit. That's a little bit grainy. And then use the arrow keys to get this. Drag it first. And then use the arrow keys to get it in the middle. Okay. As close as I can get it. Yeah, so it's, nice, clean appearance. It doesn't take up, with these proportions, it doesn't take up very much of the screen at all. And yeah, and then that little bit of transparency, you can kind of see through. That way it's not kind of like blocking anything. All right, let me turn off that image. Next up, so why score bugs matter. Okay, so next one is understanding score bug anatomy. Breakdown of core components. Okay, so it's saying examples, font, color, background, positioning. So for this score bug, let's see, let me go back to this view. I'm on repeat. Let me turn off my camera. Okay. So for this view, you can see, what was that first one? The font. I think I used, what was it, Avenir as the font. just because it's kind of more distinctive than, or yeah, than is this Calibri probably back down here. Yeah. It's just a little bit sharper, looks a little bit more sophisticated. And then, so what else do we have? Let me go here. Doesn't want to show Safari. So font, color, background, positioning. So yeah, the positioning that we have here on the screen is right there at the bottom middle. A lot of times you'll see Scorebugs in the bottom corners or top left. And you just kind of want it kind of out of the way for the positioning. The colors, so I'm using for this particular example, AC Flora, their blue color, and I'm fading it to black, and then Camden's yellow color fading to black. Fade to black kind of ties in both sides. For the area where the information is, I have a lighter gray, I guess, in the middle to a very dark gray on the edges, again creating some balance. And then the data elements there, also balancing. And then what do we see? Font, color, yeah. So, and then the background. Well, the background of the Scorebug is actually a magenta color, and yeah, so this magenta color up here, and it's, you know, made transparent. But what's cool is then we have, you know, just not like a rectangular box. Yeah, nice different shapes and stuff on there. To showcase examples of each type to illustrate the differences. Oh, so all right, so different kinds of Scorebugs. The only ones that I do, so static animated. In this case, text-based. Obviously, there's some graphics, there's some text. If you, yeah, like the only really animation is just adding scores. It doesn't do anything other than change the numbers. Yeah, sometimes if you have a 3-pointer, you could have some sort of animation happening. In this case, I don't. I might have to program one at some point. But you have enough movement, you know, especially if you have a clock here counting down. Then, yeah, kind of something's always going on the Scorebug, but you don't want it to animate too much and distract from the game itself. All right, design for clarity and readability. Prioritize legibility, clear fonts. So clearly that Avenir font is pretty crisp and easy to read. Sometimes, you know, a lot of people will be watching a live stream on their phones, and if that's the case, then it might be kind of difficult to read. Having a nice thin font could go kind of either way. You want to definitely minimize the amount of graphics that are, or information that's on the Scorebug. You don't want everything to overlap or anything. High contrast color schemes. Yeah, having if you're gonna have like white numbers lettering, you don't want some like off-white, lighter yellow background color to whatever that element is. And yeah, in this particular Scorebug example, we got plenty of contrast. Quick comprehension. Yeah, so it's nice, compact Scorebug. Everything is in the same font. Some different sizes of text, depending on how important the data is. Obviously, you wouldn't want a small score and then a huge foul count. Let's see. Emphasize reading. Okay. Provide tips on choosing the right font style. So, I mean, in order to do that, you kind of just have to, do a little trial and error, and kind of just go through different font examples, and a lot of times something like impact. Sometimes impact's really good. In this case, kind of forces all of the letters kind of to be jumbled, a little tougher to distinguish one from the other. But yeah, that's just a matter of looking through and avoiding something. Actually, that's easy to read, but avoiding something too weird. For the Premier League Scorebug, I used Source Sans Pro. Yeah. Source Sans Pro Black. Yeah, that's a nice distinctive font. But let me go ahead and Control Z out of that. Okay. Let's go back to this outline. Okay. Tips on choosing the reds. Yeah. Okay. So creating visual appeal. Utilize color palettes that match the brand's aesthetic and video theme. Discuss the importance of creating visually interesting design. Explain how to use white space. Cleaner, more professional look. So the white space example, let's start with that. That's kind of why I green screen out the background. The different shapes that you see on the scorebook itself kind of serve that same purpose of white space, but then we also have like space in between the like team name and the scores, some space among the data elements below that. The color palettes, obviously I have the definite fiction logo in the middle. In this case, it just sort of kind of closely matches the blue for Flora, but in this case, for sports scorebugs, you generally want to have colors that match the teams that are playing. And sometimes they could clash. Sometimes you'll have a kind of a Christmassy looking scorebug if one team's red and one team's green. But in this case, the Camden, the yellow and the blue kind of work really well together. It's almost like orange and teal. But yeah, using the colors to make it easier for your viewers to identify which team is which. It's definitely the way to go for sports. Importance of creating interesting design. So for this particular one, like obviously I did put a lot of thought into how I wanted this presented. The having this kind of circle surrounding the logo in the middle is kind of nice. Also, it's sort of subtle. Hopefully, you can see it. But if I click on the middle of this and then drag it over, there's this like semi-transparent circle, which helps make it look a little bit more 3D instead of a flat image. And that's actually not even all that hard to do. What you would want to do, so I have this white circle with a dark gray outline behind the logo itself. And then for this gradient, like transparent gradient, to make it look sort of 3D, if we go to format shape and then fill, it's a gradient fill. And on the bottom side of the fill, it's a black color that's set to 100% transparency. And on the top side of the fill, it's a white color that's set to what I have 60% transparency. And then when you do that, it just ends up looking like it has a little shape and is little shape, little shininess. It just kind of makes it look 3D a little bit. Just a subtle design element. The other things, yeah, the gradient behind the team names. It's also part of that design, and the visual appeal. What's this important design? So, yep. Okay. All right. Tips for success. Share industry best practices and common mistakes to avoid. Offer practical tips for using software like Photoshop and After Effects for creating scorebugs. Yeah, so in this case, I create all of mine in Excel. I can show you how I put together the elements that are in mine. Showcase a few advanced techniques for creating unique and impactful scorebugs. All right, so I guess I've shown you let's see, first one, industry. All right, so at least for basketball, these are kind of like these standard elements that you would have. In this case, I have the clock showing. The clock actually doesn't work very well in Mac. It works great on a Windows laptop, Windows PC. But what I have this clock button, so I can like turn it off if I want. Normally what I'll have is a camera pointed at the clock on the scoreboard in the basketball arena, and then I will bring it in to OBS. So right here on the hold on, some of my background is showing. Okay, so I'll have so I'll bring in and then crop in the clock at this spot where I would have the clock in. And then similar to what I did with the magenta background on this, I'll add a filter to the clock itself. And so you can do like this, like if I wanted a filter on this, go here and then, whoops, not here. You know, add a chroma key and then key out, usually like if there's like a black background on the clock itself, you know, key out the black and then be able to bring it into on top of the scorebug and have it look somewhat integrated. What was the other thing? Let's see, tips. Yeah, so different elements in here. So I showed you the semi-transparent gradient on top of the logo. For these, what these are is just insert, and then we go up to shapes, and then these are just rounded rectangles, so like this. And then you can format the shape and do like a gradient fill. It's actually grabbing the semi-transparent fill. But if we want this to go, let's go direction. Side to side. Let's get rid of the transparency on that. Change that. No transparency. And then, yeah, you can just change color to something else. And then, yeah, just a matter of resizing it to get similar shape and stuff to that. What else? If you wanted like a harsher or harsher transition, you could do that. But yeah, we don't want that. But yeah, that's basically it. And so you're kind of unlimited in, well, you're limited only to what Excel will let you add. You could always add, bring in images created from other programs, layer them on top of the Scorebug. I guess it's kind of important though too. So this is a rectangle shape. You could use rectangle shapes, or you could use text boxes, and then so you bring in the background elements, and then you add. So insert text boxes on top of those things. So yeah. So yeah. Okay. So you can just add elements on top of other elements, or text elements on top of other shapes and stuff. But yeah, we don't need that. All right, I think that's it. Let me see. Yeah. So that's it. That's kind of a walkthrough of my basketball scorebug using outline from Google's new inspiration feature, or YouTube's new inspiration feature. So that was the outline. Then we have titles and thumbnail options. I don't know that these thumbnails would be great. But yeah, actually, nice clock. Here we go. Title, examples, show more, show more. Scorebug Mastery, Pro Designer Secrets Revealed. Ooh, I like that. Level up your Scorebug game, Pro Tips and Tricks. Scorebug Design Guide, Beginner to Pro. Ultimate Guide, Scorebug Design Tips and Tricks for a Killer Look. Let's go. Yeah, I would use that. Create stunning Scorebug. I really like this though, this feature. Huh, okay. Yeah, all right, so that's it. A video, a meta video using the new inspiration tab from on YouTube Studio. Where? Oh, there I am. Oh, actually, I can probably switch there. All right, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you.